Director for ICM Controls, handling the South region. Just a little bit about me. I've been in the HVAC industry more than a decade, but more importantly for this discussion, also have experience probably close to 15 years in the electrical as well as electronics industry. So today's discussion, we're talking about, what are we talking about today? We're talking about surge protection devices, SPDs, which include in our segment 493s, 495s, and the new Century 3-in-1. The first question to ask is, what is transient power surge? Transient spikes, also known as surges, are peaks in voltage that are extremely high in amplitude, but only last for a brief amount of time. Everyone always thinks of lightning strikes, which are the most common for the transient surges, and also cause the most complete failure of an unprotected system. I don't know how many people may have experienced that, but if you look at the picture in the lower right-hand side, that's pretty common in a lot of parts of the country. ICM surge protectors protect against surges caused by lightning strikes. They are not intended, and this is an important piece, to take a direct hit from lightning strikes. It is merely to handle the surges as a result of them. They are not lightning arresters. Again, you can get them from lightning strikes, power surges, power outages and recoveries, down power lines, startup or shutdown of large equipment failure, or short circuits. So we talk about lightning strikes, and I am blessed to live in what is considered the world leader in lightning strikes in the state of Florida. Actually, if we look at the state of Florida, head towards the south western coast, a little town called Punta Gorda. It's a really bright red, so I guess really proud to be where we are. But anyway, that's, you can see from this map, lightning and the power surges from them occur everywhere. The map specifically shows the density of these events. The South region, you can see very heavy concentration in Florida, Louisiana, Texas area, but it continues all throughout the country. I'm not sure if we could do this, but I had a show of hands. Who's actually experienced the effects of lightning strikes? Seen it with burnt control boards or anything along those lines? Oh, come on, there's probably a lot more of you. There we go. So it happens all over. So, obviously there is problems, but do we really need surge protection? As I mentioned, many contributors to power surges, but still some question the need. Just consider for first cost of replacement of those boards. That's, as you can see, have gotten up into several hundred, if not $1,000 for a replacement board. The power grid offers many opportunities for surge, and it's typically at transition points. So this is just a quick graph to show you how complex the transmission, the T&Ds, the transmission and distribution of the power system, how complicated it can get. And typically where you're going to see faults or issues is at those connection points. That's engineering 101. Failure is not going to happen in the lines. It's going to happen in wherever there's a transition. So step up substation, transformer, anything along those lines. That's where you're going to see the issues and the surges as a result of them. I thought this was a pretty interesting map as well. As power consumption continues to rise, so do the power disruptions. The need for protection of this equipment that we're installing is becoming more increasingly critical. I tried to get a similar map that I showed with the lightning strikes to show you where there's issues with what we call dirty power. But as you could probably imagine, the power companies are very protective, basically all saying, no, we don't have any issues. So again, I think we all know better than that. So obviously there's problems. Let's offer some solutions. What problems have been well documented, hopefully at this point, and we have a bunch of solutions in this category. The 493, the 495, and the Century 3-in-1 are just a few of the overall product category that we have for protection devices. Another question to ask is, why use electrical disconnects with surge? Well, one of the most important parts is, in some places, it's required by code. So making sure that you're up to speed on that, but it is a cost-effective, clean installation. Obviously, low-cost insurance policy. We talk about that all the time. What we're actually doing is offering up a way to ensure that the products that you're installing are going to last, that they're not going to be subject to any surge or anything else that we're going to talk about in a minute here. Specifically, the 495 comes in a 30 amp as well as a 60 amp version. This is a product that combines surge as well as the disconnect, offering the highest UL rating for nominal discharge current, for increasing longevity of the unit and durability of the surge protection device. Completely factory wired, quick installation, in a 3R enclosure for protection indoor and outdoor use. Hello?
Hey, Will.
Mute, please.
Turn off, please mute your mic, sir.
Okay. Some typical applications, air conditioners, heat pumps, ductless mini splits, and also commercial refrigeration. Essentially any piece of equipment in this segment that can be, that is subject to any potential power surges or any other power fluctuations. As these things have gotten more sensitive, again, it's pure physics. You know, in the electronics industry, we're very proud of miniaturizing components. But all that did was have a focused point where any fluctuation, any potential fluctuation in power, that's where it was going. It was going to find the weakest point, and it's pure physics. You've now centralized and shrunk something down to the point where it is very susceptible to any of these fluctuations. Oops, I skipped one. I did. So what's inside of the 495? There's two very large thermally fused TMOVs. TMOVs, for those that don't know, thermally protected metal oxide varistors. I've simplified that. It's essentially when you pop the lid, you think of those as heat sinks, absorbing the energy that's caused by the surge and converting it into heat. The LED indicator on the enclosure shows you actually when you are protected. Skip one again? Nope, I did. Sorry about that. Another question to ask is, when is a fused or a non-fused disconnect needed? So the differences between it, a lot of similarities, but when you're talking about a non-fused, or a fused, it protects against short circuits, typically also required by code in many areas. The non-fused, as you would imagine, offers no short circuit protection. Just a simple wiring diagram showing you line and load and how the fuse is in line. A lot more information can be found on our installation guides and on the web. Just wanted to show you a quick visual of how it is wired in line. So while we are the early adopters of this particular segment, we use combination units. Some others have followed, but none offer the same completeness of a solution. A UL certification for both the surge and disconnect. Easy installation accessory, factory wired, includes the fuses, that's a big one, American made, and internal surge protector. The only one that even comes close, and I would even say that they don't even do that, is the Mars unit. Another consideration when you're talking about this category is line voltage monitoring. Line voltage monitors are there to protect the equipment from damage due to over or under voltage or inconsistent voltage conditions that are known as dirty power. So while surges will take out a unit instantaneously, over the course of time, if you have large amounts of over or under voltage, it'll slowly but surely deteriorate the unit to the point of failure. Again, surges handle spikes. Surges are spikes, and the over and under are better known as dirty power, are slow. Think of it as guardrails. You're looking at within a particular range that you want to maintain, or else, again, you'll have issues with the unit moving forward. LVMs, line voltage monitors, again, ideal applications where there's dirty power is a common problem. And again, this is where I wanted to show the map of where dirty power or not consistent voltage occurs. I'll tell you that occurs all over the place. I used to live in the Northeast, and there was consistent over the summer, you'd see rolling brownouts, essentially where you have a large amount of usage during the summer, everyone turning on their AC units, and you'd have dips in voltage. So there are conditions where that would cause problems down the road for product. So again, with the problem, we have a solution. In the single box, the ICM493 is a single phase line monitor with surge protection. In this case, it has a digital display showing the remaining TMOVs. Again, not something that is common, but it is a quick visual to see that you are still protected and that you have consistent integrity of the unit. Standard is 40 amp, but it also comes in the 60 amp version. When you're talking about this, it's a consistent, convenient combination unit. Pays for itself easily 3 times over if you think about the cost of the circuit board replacement and the labor associated. Again, quick show of hands, how many installers are using some of these types of surge or line voltage monitoring to protect? Can I raise my hand? There you go. So again, it's not necessarily new, but if you look back a few slides, there are still some that say, hey, it's not going to happen to me. Again, these are very cost-effective insurance policies. Again, applications that you would see them, air conditioning units, heat pumps, ductless mini splits, and a lot more that are coming online that are very sensitive to any kind of fluctuations in voltage. One other thing to consider, true RMS. True RMS is critical for electrical measurements because it provides an accurate representation of the effective value of an AC waveform. Essentially what it's saying is if you're going to do this, make sure you're having a product that provides an accurate representation. Otherwise, why bother, I would say. This feature, which is built into the 493, maximizes the accuracy and the protection of the components that it's connected to. 493 surge phase, single phase inverter equipment is protected just by the very reason that, like mini splits, becoming more and more sensitive to the over and under voltage conditions. 493, with its superior technology and rugged design, offers a solution for the performance, for the perfect insurance policy to protect your installation. Not only that, but wait, there's more. we offer a 3-year, $10,000 connected equipment warranty. Again, I'm not going to go through the eye chart on the right-hand side. Just refer back to our website. There's a slew of more information. Last but not least, the latest entry into this segment is the ultimate, I would say the ultimate in combination devices, the Century 3-in-1. It is a surge, line voltage monitor, and disconnect all incorporated into one enclosure. It uses tried and true technology, which is the 493 line voltage monitor, the 517A, which is the surge, and a 40 amp disconnect, offering superior protection for all types of power problems. All pre-wired in a single enclosure for the ultimate in convenience. This is the one and only slide I would call my sales pitch. ICM controls, surge protection, line voltage monitoring are helping to meet your needs. Superior protection from a trusted source, true innovation that is manufactured in the US and good old Syracuse, New York, used to live there. A recognized leader in line voltage monitors and surge protection devices, superior products backed by a top-rated warranty, and power solutions experts with more than 40 years combined knowledge in the industry. This is what we do. Additional support, obviously, you're going to hear from a gentleman if any questions are asked by the name of John Finetti. More than a decade, I believe, at least a decade of experience in troubleshooting, but also a lot of different sources of information on ICMcontrols.com.
So if anybody has any questions, I'm John. If anybody has any questions at this time, you know, please let me know right now, and then you can also ask other questions, you know, either at our email address, info@icmcontrols.com, or you can give us a call at your convenience at the technical support hotline, 1-800-365-5525. You know, we can get, you know, some help to you. There's a wealth of information on our media library as well as on our website explaining a lot of these products. But if anybody has any questions immediately about anything that we went over, including the ICM493 and the ICM 495 that we went over, is there anything that people didn't understand about TMOVs, the thermally protected metal oxide varistors, how they work, or anything to do with applications, that, you know, let me know.
We have one question that just came through the chat from Sam Maxwell asking, is the 492D a new product? And they did not see it on their website.
Is the 492 what? I didn't hear you. 492D.
A new product for ICM.
Yes, it is a new product. The 492, it's a reviving or an upgrade of the standard 492C, and it has several new features, including a new microprocessor. It also has more tactile buttons for better connections and durability. It has true RMS reading rather than average peak voltage, and also the calibration feature that you can build in to calibrate or offset the display to a true RMS value if the true RMS reading is slightly uncalibrated from the factory. But we do factory calibrate those units. So that feature may not be necessary, but it's there if you want it, or if you have some special voltage application, you need to do some calibrations.
And for those that were listening intently to what John just said, true RMS was mentioned there, and that's why we also show it available in the other products that we discussed today. So it's a superior product, even more so than it was before. The 492D, great product, a great upgrade.
I believe one of the other things in the 492D is a backlit display, which we did not have for viewing things in a low light condition. So
Yep.
that also makes it more of that versatile.
Makes it look pretty.
And functional too in the low light conditions.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to mention is about the ideal applications for the 493 specifically. We did talk a little bit about the applications with mini splits and inverters, but I want to talk about why that's so important. So mini splits and inverters are generally rated for 208, 230 volts. So their maximum allowable voltage is around 252 volts. If you go over 252 volts, you can fry a circuit board very quickly, and that circuit board can be well over $1,000 to repair or replace, on top of labor to put it in. So spending a few $100s on a premier product like the 493 is well worth 3 times over the cost of replacing one of the circuit boards in an inverter or a mini split that would be incurred. I had a customer one time literally install his unit. His voltage was way out of range. He installed his unit, his inverter. He turned on the power and blew the inverter board. Literally the first time he turned on power. He then immediately bought a 493 and has not had a problem since. So that, there's some good testimonies about that that I've seen, and also that maybe even on some of our chat sites or wherever they social media picks up our products. But I just wanted to make sure that was clear. And I wanted to make sure too that on the surge protection end in the 495, this is using a superior TMOV that has a very good rating and nominal discharge rating of 20,000 amps. And what that means is the nominal discharge rating is UL's affirmative test that says, hey, if we've tested this thing for durability, multiple hits over and over again, we've hit this 15 times with 20,000 amps and 15 times in a row with no damage to the control. That's the highest standard that UL will test to for that for any product, and that is the maximum you can get. And if you look at top rated surge suppressors and things like that, that nominal discharge of 20 kA is very important. So that's a great selling feature as well. It's also key to understand that these, like Jim had mentioned, they absorb the energy and dissipate it as heat. They do not break you from the service. The fuses on the 495 will break you from the service, but that's for a over current protection. But if you have a surge, many times the fuses will never blow because the surge is acting at nanoseconds so fast that the fuses can't even see it and won't react fast enough. And that's why we have that surge. So you have a fused disconnect plus surge suppression built into one, which is a double whammy there, right? So you got the extra protection of that fast acting transients along with the overcurrent protection, which is a great all-in-one product as well. So I just wanted to drive that home. And just because the surge protector is a sacrificial part of the device doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a one and done product. This can take, like I said, that nominal discharge current means it can take multiple hits. And so you don't have to worry about it being a one and done product. Yes, once the light goes out on the 495, then the surge protector the whole unit will have to be replaced. But the unique feature about this as compared to maybe some of the competition is that our box is a completely UL listed product, including the box enclosure and the SPD. With a lot of the other competition, including Mars and maybe some of the others, only the SPD is actually UL listed.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest of the product is not. So our entire product on the 495 is UL listed. and makes it, again, another superior feature. So those are some of the things I just wanted to drive home about the 495 and the 493 is they are very solid products for the field and very convenient because of their applications and their importance in the industry.
Awesome. Appreciate that, John.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Are there
John,
any
I think yep, I think you hit on this one though, John. In the chat from Kevin, we have is a surge protector in the 495A, 495 replaceable.
So that's a good point. I was just going to bring that up actually, and it slipped my mind as I was going on to other things. The 495 SPD is not replaceable, and the only reason why is because you would have to disassemble the entire unit in order to do that, and we don't want the customers, number one, to have to do that, and number two, it will void the UL certification.
Yeah.
And so then UL requires then a new inspector to inspect that on site. We're never going to see that. So that's just not viable. So we're gonna we tell them you just have to replace the. We don't offer the SPD as a separate product.
Correct.
So are there any other questions we have?
I think we hit. Anybody left page?
Nope, we have no more questions in the chat.
Awesome. I do appreciate everyone's time that's still on the call. Again, if you need more information, please refer back to info@icmcontrols.com or give me a call. I'll talk to you. Appreciate the time.